We're not going to use it right away, but I want to at least be open and ready to go when we are ready to use it. So have your Chromebooks open to our classroom page. That'd be great. All right, well, we got 4 days of review here. Okay, just the way break fell, I didn't feel comfortable giving you guys tomorrow with only 1 day of review. I don't know how well that would have went. And obviously, I'm not giving it to you the day we get back from break. And I still don't feel comfortable the second day we get back from break. So we're going to have it, you guys know that Wednesday we get back. So we got 4 days. So I'm just going to break this up into little chunks here. Today, we're going to review Hills and SAS and your 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90 triangles. All right. Don't feel like you have to take notes right now because I'm going to put anything I write down on the board, I'll post it to Classroom every day. All right, all the little details. But I'll show this to you now. This is not yours. Sorry, this is yours. It's going to be 32 points, 9 questions total. First 3 are multiple choice. Everything else is going to be show your work. All right, so it doesn't, I know this doesn't seem intimidating right there, 32 points. We're taking it in 2 weeks, though. Like a lot goes in and out in 2 weeks in your mind, I'm sure. And we have a big break in between. All right, so and there's a lot of topics. All right, we've been on this. This is what, day 15? Wow, we've done 15 days of this unit, so there's a lot to get on there. All right, but these are all the topics. I'm not going to go over every single one right now. Today's focus is going to be Hills and SAS, 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90. All right, and then once I finish, we're done. I'm not going to do any assignments for tonight. Nothing's going to be due. You guys know when the test is, so you know how you got to prepare yourself. So you ready for a little Hill SAS? I got a bunch of questions for everybody. Again, if you want to take the notes, fine. If not, I'm going to post this to Classroom after we're done today. All right, all the day's notes will be posted to Classroom. So let's talk about SAS first. You need a special type of diagram to do these problems. You just can't have any old triangle and you're sitting there, you're like, you know what? I'm feeling SAS today. No, you're not. All right? No, you're not. You got to have a special type of diagram to do all these. Big triangle's got to be a right triangle. What else needs to be contained in this right triangle? Here's our review. If you got to look back, you look back. What else has to be contained in this right triangle for to say, oh, this is definitely Hill SAS time? 8, what's got to be contained in here?
An altitude from the 90-degree angle.
Perfect. I need an altitude starting at the right angle, drawn over to the hypotenuse. I need an altitude drawn there. Now, does it have to look this exactly? No, I could turn it, right? But it's got to be a right triangle with an altitude from the right angle to the hypotenuse. All right, let me put some labels on here, and then I'm going to ask you what the different parts are called. What are the different parts called? Ready? Let me start with, 5. CD. Think about SAS, the letters in SAS and Hills, and that would be a segment. Yes, that would be a segment. CD. 8. AC. That's the altitude, yeah. I'm going step by step to refresh everyone's memory. 4, how about AD? That is a leg. Good work, leg. You guys are on fire. Come on, don't stop it. 5. Actually, I just heard from 5, right? I want to hear all different voices here today, maybe. 11. BD. Yeah. Couple more. 6. BA.
Leg.
Yeah. Can't fool you guys. Single digits today. 7. BC. All right. So everyone's all good with the different parts of this diagram when I use Hills or SAS. All right. SAS. What's it mean? Using the parts of my diagram, what does SAS mean? Go through everything for me. Everything. 3. S.
segment over altitude is equal to the same altitude over other segment.
There you go. Different segments. Different segments. Good work. Didn't even have to ask anything. And then hills. Five, H.
Hypotenuse.
Already labeled up there. 4, L. 9, L. Thank you. 19, S.
We go up to
So
18.
Only go up to 18. Yeah, why do I have a 24 up there? Huh? All right. I was on fire till then, huh? That's shocking. 12.
The segment adjacent to the leg.
Good. Whatever leg we're putting in here, it's got to be the segment next to it. Good work, everyone. Good work. Any questions on here before we do some problems together? And I assign one for you and your group to look at. Go to your packet, please. Go to your packet. You should see starting on page 55 is the review section of the packet. Ken, let's go and do number 14 together right now. Let's do number 14 together. All right, 14. Everything's labeled for us already. Do we see step number 1? Look, look. I just went over a whole bunch of Hill-Sass. You know this is a Hill-Sass question, but do you see why it's Hill-Sass? Look at my diagram. Look at the diagram. Does everybody see why it's Hill-Sass? Altitude BD drawn to the hypotenuse in a right triangle. Everyone's just doing Hill-Sass because I just did it. That's why. But I want you to understand and look at the diagram and why the diagram says this is Hills and Sass. We're all good. Well, what am I trying to find? Find the length of BC. So I'll put an X there. What is BC? What do I call that? What would I have called it back here? What is BC? What would I have called BC? That's a what in the diagram? 9? Leg. Okay, so if you have leg, it's Hills and Sass. Only one of them's got an L in it, and it's Hills. What's the H stand for again? It's 1?
The hypotenuse.
How long is it, George?
12.
12. 6, what's the L stand for?
Leg.
Well, what is it? X. 9, talk to me about the other L.
The other L is the same.
X, good. 1, George, S stands for what?
4.
What's S stand for?
Oh, the segment adjacent to the leg.
Good, now look, it's not labeled. I put 8 on there because I want you to plug in 8. Oh, I got to use all the numbers. No, it's the one adjacent to the leg we're using. George, you got the ability to find that length?
Yeah,
4. 12 minus 8. 4. Everyone all right with the Hills setup? Cross multiply, x squared equals 48. Everyone take a peek at the directions. Simplest radical form, not a shocker in this above average class. You'll thank me next year. Got to make it to next year, though. Ooh, sorry. Sorry. Hit home for some of you? Hit home there? Finding a perfect square that's not 4, that goes in the 48 because there's something bigger. Sure. Hey, remember what we talked about? 4, and then you'd put 12 there. Isn't there a perfect square that goes into 12? Yeah, so 4 is not the biggest. What is the biggest one here? 18, biggest one? Keep grinding. Let's go. Keep grinding. What are you checking after 4?
So not 12.
12 is not a perfect square. Come on, you're better than that. 4, 9,
16.
16. And does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times?
3.
3. So I get 16 radical 3. One more step. Take the square root of 16, and my final answer is going to be 17.
4 squared 3.
Yep. I'm really grinding you guys today on every little detail here. Questions? All right, another one together and then one on your own. Next one, 15. Or 15? Yeah, 15. Ooh, now we got to find x and y. And if possible, we can leave it in simplest radical form. All right, we got to start somewhere. So we've got a question. 18, what's x up there?
Altitude.
Altitude, right? So usually I'd have to use SAS. But once I put SAS in, does everyone see the problem I'm going to run into? I have segment 8, but I don't have the other segment. So that's out. I'm not going to be able to find x, right? Well, actually I could, but I'm not going to get into it. So I could find y. Oh, maybe I can find y. Let's see. 13, what's y in the diagram? Hypotenuse. So if I use hills and I look at everything I have, I think I can do hills to find the hypotenuse. We already mentioned hypotenuse is y. Talk to me here. 14, what's the L mean? Do we have one? What is it? 9 equals 11. What's the other L stand for? Same leg. 9. 18. What's the deal with the S here?
8.
Segment next to the leg 9, which would be 8. Everyone all right with the hills we just filled in? No issues? 8y equals 81. No square rooting here. Y equals, you guys are getting a little bit of a decimal, but not too bad, so we can write it out. 10.125. How's that look? All right, so that's 10.125. Remember at the very beginning, Adrian said, hey, x was an altitude, but we couldn't do SAS because we didn't have the other segment. We had 8, but not the other one. Can we have the other one now? Can you get me the other segment so I can do SAS? Yes, you can. Now that I know y is 10.125, we can definitely get the other segment. George, here you go. SAS. S for what?
Segment.
Which one? Which one you want?
8.
8. All right. 8 over 7. Talk to me. What's the A? Which is labeled as what? X. I'm going every little detail here. 6. What's the A?
Altitude.
Same altitude, right? And then 6. What about this last S?
That'll be 2.125.
How'd you get it? How'd you get the other segment? Just explain in case somebody doesn't know in the crowd.
I took 10.125 and subtracted 8 from
Here
that.
you go. 2.125. Cross multiply. X squared equals 17. Now I got to take the square root. So x would be, I don't think I can break down square root of 17, so leave it in simplest radical form. Square root of 17. Challenge question before we move on. Let's just say I totally blanked and didn't realize I could use SAS now. How else could I have found x? I blanked, totally didn't realize I could use SAS. But there's still another way if you forgot to use SAS. Cal?
Pythagorean Theorem.
Look, everyone see this right triangle right here? Pythagorean Theorem. Still going to quiz you guys. How would that look if you use Pythagorean Theorem? A squared, B squared equals C squared. I get it. What are you going to plug in where now? Come on now. Come on. Dig deep. Dig deep. 5. What are my A and B values?
8, 9.
Okay, where's the 9 across from? The right angle. So the 9's a what? Hypotenuse. Where's the hypotenuse go into Pythagorean theorem? A, B, or C? The hypotenuse. Where does it go in for A, B, or C? C. So the 9 would be here, and what would be in for A and B now?
8.
What's the other side? X. Correct. You good there?
Yeah.
Pull your mask up. Nobody wants to see that crust dash. All right. All right, good.
We're like gardeners.
No, it's crusty. All right. Let's just say when Eagle Elementary gets out, you shouldn't be 50 yards from there. All right.
No.
All right. Pulling up in your van with no windows.
Whoa. Yo.
The creeper stash. Everybody was thinking it. Let's be honest here. Everyone was thinking that crust stash. All right. What was going on there? All right. A little dirt. So, all right. All right. Everybody good here? We all good? Okay. You're going to do a tough one right now, but it's going to be in your group. All right. We're not giving up on this one. All right. It's going to be a little tough. Maybe you don't have enough information that you'd like, but you can find it though. All right. Go ahead. Number 17. No quit on this one. No quit. That's why I'm going to try to have you talk it out in your groups. No quit. I'm going to let you struggle through it too. Okay, let's do this. Let's go over this. Again, do we get why it's Hill SAS? So at least if you're taking the test in a problem and I'm not shying away from problems like this. All right, I'm not going to. All right, I'm not going to water down the test just to make it easy on everyone. We're going to get some challenging questions like this. So you got to say to yourself, look, I have where to go. I have all these topics here. Narrow it down now. I see the diagram I'm working with. It's a right triangle. FM is an altitude. It's got to be hills and SAS. So at least narrow it down to what type of problem it is. Now look at what you have. What do we call FP here? If I know this is a hill SAS now, what am I calling FP? 15. FP is the what? Leg. Leg. What's the only one that uses leg? Hills. Do you see I'm narrowing this down now? That, hey, somehow I'm going to fill that in. Somehow I got to fill that in. I don't have it, guys. I don't have any other options. I got to fill in hills. How many of you guys put an X on MP? Anybody put an X on MP? And then everyone else put an X for EP? Is that how you guys did it? Yes, no? I got to put an X somewhere here. Yes, no? You either put the X here on MP or you put it for EP because you're trying to solve it. Okay, I'll leave it on MP then. But still, you'll still get the correct answer if you put it on. Your just hills will look a little different. All right, so if I put it on MP, how long is the hypotenuse now? X plus 10, yeah. I didn't want to do it. You guys just told me 12 is the leg, same leg, and now out of X and 10, which one's adjacent to 12? X. So there's hills. There it is. Now, some of you may have had X here and then X minus 10 here instead. That's fine. That's fine. All right, now the solving of it. X times X plus 10 equals 144. I'm not scared of this. We've done this a lot. I'm not scared of giving you guys this. C squared, you know you're going to have to factor. Can't factor until what, though? One side equals 0. Move the 144 over by subtracting. There it goes. What are you looking for? Two numbers that do what? Multiply to 144 and add to 10. Negative 144. Yeah, there are some large numbers, but you guys have calculators you can play around with. Two numbers that are 10 apart, that'll multiply to 144, and I believe it's 18 and 8. If I'm going quicker here, 18 and 8. If I want them to add to a positive 10, I put plus 18 and minus 8. Set each equal to 0 like we've been doing this year. One answer might be x equals negative 18. One answer might be x equals 8. What? Anybody see a problem though? Eddie? I can have a negative answer, but if I plug it in, I'm going to get a negative side length. MP cannot be negative 18. So that's going to get rejected. And just say, hey, everyone who did it this way, 8 is not my answer. Remember, if you're going to put MP is x, that's 8. I'm looking for the length of Maple Street. All right, so Maple Street will be 10 plus 8, 18. Oh, and units, miles. Make sure I follow my own directions. Questions here? Again, I'm not going to shy away from this type of problem. Narrow it down. You know it's hill SAS, and we said, well, it can't be SAS because there's no altitude labeled, so we got hills. Any last minute questions here before we move on? All right, let's before we leave, let's talk about 30, 60, 45, 45, 90. Let's talk about the rules before we do examples. If you got to look back, because I'm just going to start calling on people right away here. All right, two rules for the 45, 45, 90. This right triangle has two legs and a hypotenuse. Agreed, two legs and a hypotenuse. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, what do we know about the legs? The legs. 12, what do we know about the legs? Legs are congruent. That's the two sides across from the 45s are congruent. How do you find the hypotenuse if I know a leg then? 15, how do I find the hypotenuse? There you go. Leg times, take a look, square root of 2. Not 2, square root of 2. And that's it. That's it. Next, 30, 60, 90 triangle. Couple more rules now. It has two legs. Are they congruent? No. What do I call the leg across from the 30? Well, because it's across from the smaller angle, I call it the shorter leg. And then across from the 60, you got your longer leg. And then obviously the hypotenuse across from the right angle. So here we go. How do you find the hypotenuse in a 30, 60, 90 triangle? How do you find your hypotenuse? Here we go. 18, hypotenuse. 2 times whatever the shorter leg is. And then how do you find your longer leg in a 30, 60, 90? 15. Shorter leg times the square root of 3. Square root of 3. All right. I know you're wondering, geez, I've had my Chromebook open this whole time. We haven't used it. Now go to Classroom, please. Go to Classroom. Look under Unit 8 for me. Unit 8 on Classroom. Everybody see unit test review material? All right, that's for you. This is everything that has to do with the unit test. So you can open that up and you'll see 4 documents. One is the answers to the textbook questions I suggest. One is the answers to the packet that you're looking at right now. A little law of sines and cosines review we'll get to after break, and then everybody see the extra practice for Hills, SAS, special right triangles. So let's open that up for me. Open that up. The first 2 pages are all Hills and SAS questions if you need extra practice. First 2 pages are Hills and SAS. All good? And then the following 2 pages are the answers to those. So I actually need you to go to the 5th page right now, where the top says special right triangles. Okay, special right triangles. And one of your classmates right now are going to pick which one we do. So 1 through 18, you got a choice. Numbers 1 through 18. All right, which one do you want to do? 18, 1 through 18. What do you want? 7, everyone. Take a look at number 7 on that one. All right, good choice, good choice. Let me copy and paste it myself. Okay, find X and Y here on number 7. It's a 30, 60, 90, definitely. What are they giving me? What's the 16 called? What are they giving me there? 11, what are they giving me? What's the 16? No 11?
Oh, number 16 is hypotenuse.
That's the hypotenuse. Let's start with the side across from 30, which is the shorter leg. If the hypotenuse is 16, explain to me or your classmates how are we going to find the side across from 30. And again, here is the hypotenuse equals shorter leg times 2, if that helps you out to write the rule down first. And the hypotenuse Zach said was 16. So explain to me, how do I get to the shorter leg? 2, how do I get to the shorter leg? What's the hypotenuse again, Molly? Correct. Take your hypotenuse and divide it by 2. So what's my shorter leg here, Molly? Finish it up. 8. So y is equal to 8. Y is equal to 8. And then now help me find x. X, the longer leg. 16, how do you find the longer leg again?
Multiply the shorter leg and multiply by radical 3.
Okay, so what's my longer leg going to be?
So it's going to be 8 radical 3.
Yep, 8 square root of 3. Any issues? Okay, give me another number, 1 through 18. 8, 1 through 18, what do you got? 13, everyone. Take a look at 13. Ooh, boy. Here you go. Good one. Good one. 45, 45. Okay, first question is hopefully going to be an easy one here for you. 3, what do I know about U and V? They're congruent, right? I don't need to find each one separately. They're going to be the same length. What's the 8 radical 2 in the diagram? 10, what's the 8 radical 2? Hypotenuse. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, what is the hypotenuse equal to? 2, what's the hypotenuse equal to? Yep, leg times radical 2. Ready? 8 radical 2 is the hypotenuse. Plug it in. Leg, you can pick u or v, doesn't matter. Times the square root of 2. How do I get u or v by itself now to solve for it? How do I get u or v by itself? 1, George.
Divide by the square root of 2.
Good job. Divide square root of 2, square root of 2. And everyone see what happens? See ya. So either leg will be equal to 7? 8. So v equals u, which is equal to 8. All good? And I think I will end it there. First thing tomorrow, we'll come in and we'll do a group 30, 60, 45, 45 one. A group one. We have a shortened period tomorrow, so good time to review. Assembly at the end of the day. Virtual one, because that'll be fun.